this is Tata, and welcome to the Wrestling Time Post Show. For tonight, I will be reviewing both Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Rampage. Alright, so normally when I do this review, I always start off with AEW Rampage, but I think tonight I'm going to start with Friday Night SmackDown just because there was a certain segment that I want to talk about that kind of correlates into what I talked about on my Raw review. Okay, so Damage Control had came out tonight and they cut a promo. Bailey talking about how Michael Cole must have missed her or how SmackDown needed help with the ratings. She said that the three of them combined, her, Bailey, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, were in the War Games match for 95 minutes and 19 seconds. So, Bailey says it's because nobody wanted to step up or face them. And they're here to be role models. Then Liv Morgan came out and confronted him. Where has Liv Morgan been? I feel like it's been a while since we've seen Liv Morgan on SmackDown. I mean, she was doing those backstage segments with Sonya Deville, and then they kind of just seemed to stop. And so then Tegan Nox returned, and Liv Morgan eventually came at Damage Control with the kendo stick. She attacked Bailey with that kendo stick. So my thing is, Tegan, so excited to see her back in the WWE. Yeah, definitely. It's good that she's back. And as I know, especially she's got that history with Dakota Kai, so it should be interesting. But my one issue with this part is the fact that I feel like Damage Control isn't being booked correctly. I feel like even though they have the numbers game, because there's three of them, I always feel like they for whatever reason, people always get the better of them. Like, look what happened on Monday Night Raw with Becky Lynch. It was 3-on-1, and yet Becky Lynch has somehow managed to turn the tables on them. But hey, I did not mind Tegan Nox coming back at all. I was happy to see her back. I feel like Tegan Nox didn't get much of a shine the last time she was on the main roster. Glad that Tegan Nox is back. Let's be honest, she's going to suffer the same fate Candice LeRae is with no vignettes on letting fans know who she is. They lose a ton for sure. Yeah, they do. They do lose a lot. So, like I said on Raw, are they really in control of anything? I mean, plus, Bailey couldn't get through Bianca Belair, so she's not the Raw Women's Champion. You would think that Damage Control would have been this badass staple that made a statement at SummerSlam. And, you know, Dakota Kai and Io Sky are the women's tag team champions. You would think Bailey would be the Raw Women's Champion, and then they'd be running Raw, but they're not. So I don't know. Michael Cole on SmackDown is far better about letting people know their history in NXT than they are on Raw. Jobber control. Yeah, that's true. Night of OA brings up a good point. Michael Cole, ever since Vince McMahon left, he's been a breath of fresh air. He's always talking about the history in pro wrestling. Like, I believe he talked about the Bullet Club when AJ Styles and Finn Balor were feuding. So he knows his knowledge, and I actually appreciate that. And especially for people who may not watch other promotions outside of WWE, it's good that Michael Cole fills them in like that. Jobber Control, Michael 101591 says, exactly, they should change their name to Jobber Control. And speaking of the tag titles, once again, those SmackDown tag titles are props. I don't remember the last time they were defended. It's been that long since we had a team challenge for those SmackDown tag titles. I would think that they're building up Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey to eventually challenge for those tag titles, but who knows? Like, right now, those tag titles are just props, like they were during the Vince McMahon regime. I guess we just forgot all about them. But now let's start from the beginning with the SmackDown review. So SmackDown kicked things off tonight with the Bloodline promo, and they're talking about how the Bloodline's now in your city, and that's how they always start their promos. The women's tag team titles should be retired. Don't know why Triple H saw interest in keeping them. Exactly. Like, again, they're just there. They're just props. You should have unified those NXT women's tag titles and the main roster tag titles. Okay, so Jimmy says that tonight is all about Sami Zayn, their dog. And I even mentioned this on the Raw review, and I'll mention it here again. Dog could have two connotations. Dog could mean like, like their homie, or dog as in like their lapdog. He's going to be doing all their dirty work for them. So what do you guys think the connotation is here? Like dog, like he's actually their homie, or dog as in like he's their lapdog? And Jimmy also says that Sami Zayn was an MVP. And the crowd starts chanting for Sami Uso. Jay says that he doubted Sami Zayn for a long time and that he didn't like Sami Zayn, but he earned Jay's respect because Zayn helped him win the War Games. I'm gonna go dog. Sami is their lapdog. Oh, okay. So you guys, that's interesting. Night of A saying that he's the dog, their dog, as in the homie, and Michael 101591 saying Sami is their lapdog. Interesting. You guys each have different point of views. That's really good. I like that. Okay. So Jimmy asked Sami Zayn how he's feeling, and of course, Sami Zayn says he's feeling oozy. I think we all feel a little oozy when we watch SmackDown. What about you guys? Do you guys feel oozy tonight? Because I do. So Sami Zayn and the Usos do their little handshake that they did. And it's so funny. Like Solo Sikoa is just like standing up to the side, being like this. I know he's their enforcer and stuff, but it's just so hilarious. They're like he's a straight guy to the silly guys. And then Sheamus comes out and he says that he would hate to beat a fellow ginger, but it's fight night. And so this leads into Sami Zayn versus Sheamus, which is actually a pretty good match. I enjoyed this match. And I really like that Sami got the upper hand here. He did a drop kick and then our tornado DDT. Let me see. I feel oozy watching SmackDown and drowsy watching Raw. I think we all feel that same way. My favorite spot in this match was when Sami Zayn attempted to do the 10 beats to the Baron to Sheamus. Like, oh my god, that was hilarious. Oh my god, and then Sheamus doing the 20 beats of the Baron to Sami Zayn. But of course, because the Brawling Brutes and the Usos were at ringside, the Brawling Brutes did try to take out the Usos because they kept trying to get involved. Jimmy caused a distraction. Jay hit Sheamus with the kick. That was a great moment. Yes, it was. And so afterwards, you have Jimmy distract the referee once again, and Jay hit another super kick on Sheamus, allowing Sami Zayn to get the victory here. So it's really nice to see that Sami Zayn is not getting mad at Jey Uso for helping him, and Jey Uso doesn't mind helping Sami Zayn. Kofi Kingston backstage interview. He declares he's entering the Royal Rumble. So there you have it, folks. Kofi Kingston is the first person to declare himself for the Royal Rumble. He says he likes what he sees in Santos, but he can't root against Ricochet. He's talking about the SmackDown World Cup. And then Vinci and Kaiser interrupt. And Kofi Kingston says that even though Woods is in here, he feels like having a singles action tonight. So this eventually leads to Kofi versus Gunther later on in the night. And I really wish Kofi Kingston would have worn his Green Ranger attire, or hopefully the next time the New Day shows up together as a tag team, they wear their Power Rangers attire. I actually really like their attire, and I know that they paid tribute to JDF during a house show in Portland, Oregon. So I thought that was pretty more phenomenal, and I really hope they do that again on SmackDown. Yes, love their gear. Yeah, it was definitely more phenomenal. It's too bad Lindsay Dorado is no longer with the company. Otherwise, it would have been cool to see Lindsay dressed up as a Dragon Zord as well. Okay. So Bray Wyatt cuts a promo, and he starts talking about how he thinks people are spoiled today because society gives us a lavish lifestyle, because we're shouted in technology and everybody has manners. He says that everybody forgets that once upon a time we were all wild animals, and the spiders eat flies even till this day, and snakes eat rats. He says that nobody looks at this as an act in violence, simply animals trying to survive. Some must die so that others can live. And he starts talking about how all these primal instincts are ingrained in us, but nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody wants to fit into their place in society, but those instincts are still there. Then he makes it a point to say that he did not hurt LA Knight, but that he hurt us. How primal of us. If he had been the one to harm LA Knight, we'd all know because there would be none of him left. Bray Wyatt is one of the best parts of SmackDown along with the Bloodline. This is your match for the Royal Rumble, Bray versus LA Knight. Honestly, at this point, I think that's what it is too. It's going to be Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight at the Royal Rumble. We're slowly getting there. I know it seems like it's taking forever because all Bray Wyatt is doing is cutting promos. But as you saw, we did get 2 segments with LA Knight, and we're only just like a couple weeks away from the Royal Rumble. So eventually he's going to be there. I know there were reports that Bray is going to do a dark out match, but I'm not sure what that entails. I don't think there's any details about it yet. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So WWE considering special match backstage news. So it's been reported on Wrestling News that a pitch black match was reportedly pitched for the Rumble. And Wrestling News reports that the new match type is being seriously considered for a big event in January. There is no word yet on the match specifics, but it is believed that the match is for Bray Wyatt. So there you have it. That could potentially be at the Royal Rumble, or who knows, maybe at that Indian show that they're doing overseas. I'm still in shock we're getting Bray versus LA Knight. So cool, me too. Oh, by the way, thanks for using my tweet for the comic book article. Thank you. That meant a lot to me. This sounds like a lights out match. Yeah, it probably does sound like a lights out match. Probably an unsanctioned match too. So we'd be very interested to see. You know, I trust that this is probably going to be a really interesting match. And if executed well, I'm sure it'll probably be a really good match. No problem. Yeah, thanks again. That was really cool. Okay. So then we get an Emma segment. And she's basically like warming up before her match, and Madcap Moss appears to her to try to give her a pep talk. Now, in case you guys don't know, Emma and Madcap Moss are dating in real life. And he starts to tell her that she belongs here, and she tells him she will see him later. And that he tells her she's got this, and then she kisses him on the cheek. I don't know whose idea it was to pair this up in real life. Moss is a comedian telling Emma that she's a trailblazer. In what reality is she terrible in the ring? I think he means that because it came down to her and Paige for the inaugural NXT Women's title. I think she was in the final 2 with Paige, so I think that's why he's telling her she's a trailblazer. So, look, I don't have any problems with them using a real-life couple, real-life pairing and storylines. I don't know whose idea this was, but just because you're a couple in real life doesn't always translate well on screen. I mean, hello, anybody heard of Geely or Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez? They were together at that time, and that movie, it was one of the it was not a good movie. Let's go with that. It was not a good movie. It's considered a box office bomb. So I'm not saying that they can't. I'm not saying you can't pair up Emma and Madcap Moss. What I'm saying here is that their off-screen chemistry, as you can say, might not translate well on screen. I know they're dating in real life, but not really sure what we're going with this. Yeah, same here. I'm not sure what we're going with this. I really don't. And why is Emma fighting Shayna Baszler? Didn't they set up a whole angle with her and Scarlett? We didn't get any of that tonight. So I'm not entirely sure what was the whole point of her match with Shayna Baszler that took place after this segment. I heard that from myself. I heard about that too, and that's why I bought that up. I mean, I'm just trying to make a correlation here if you get what I'm trying to say. Like, Madcap Moss and Emma are dating in real life, and they might be a great couple off screen, but on screen they might not translate so well, just like Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez were in that movie. So again, that segment leads into Shayna Baszler versus Emma, which was an okay match, but I don't know why. What was the point of this match, or why we even got this match? I guess because Emma fought Ronda Rousey previously, but still, I would have preferred if Scarlett came out and maybe caused a distraction, which allowed Emma to lose this match, to continue that angle. But we didn't get any of that. Shayna Baszler ends up winning this by submission. The match is terrible, and Emma can go back to catering. So after the match, you have Shotzi, who came out and defended Emma, but she from a post-match assault. But then she got a knee to the face by Shayna. And then Raquel Rodriguez, who still has her, arm brace, came out to try to help them. And Shayna Baszler was not having any of it, and so she just walked away. So after this, we get a Lacey Evans vignette. It's called Back to Basics, and you see her training for the military, and she's you see a drill sergeant, and I guess this is going to be her new gimmick. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't have a problem with her old gimmick, with her first gimmick, the Southern Belle gimmick. I actually really liked that gimmick. The problem that she had, though, it wasn't her character. It was the booking. It was the booking that was a problem. We should just give her back that character. More vignettes from Lacey Evans. Everybody just keeps beating the horse and trying to get her over. But see, that's the problem. It's her old character, her old Southern Belle gimmick, when she's going around calling people nasties. There was no problem with that. It was just the booking that was the issue. She should just go back to that gimmick. Why? What's that saying? That saying, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Yeah, there you go. You should just go back to that gimmick. I didn't have an issue with either gimmick, but they couldn't decide if she was a heel or face. Pick one. Exactly. You need to pick one. Is she a heel or is she a face? When they were repackaged her last, and she was doing those gimmicks where she was talking about her life growing up and everything, it seemed like she was going to be a face, but then all of a sudden, they turned her heel. So I don't know. Send her back to NXT. But so I think it seems with these military ones, because of the whole tribute to the troops thing, she might be a face, but I don't see what the whole point of this Back to Basics gimmick is. I mean, is she gonna come out like a drill sergeant? Is that gonna be her gimmick? What is the whole point of this? Then we get Kofi Kingston versus Gunther. Wow, I actually really like this match. I thought it was a good match. Gunther really took it to Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston would not go down easily. Braun Strowman came out, and he caught Vinci and slammed him into the ring post and then dumped him into a timekeeper's area. And the same thing happened to Kaiser. Even Gunther does win this match with a Last Symphony to Kofi. Apparently, that's his new finisher. Commentary was talking about how he was testing out this new finisher, and they were just trying to put over that finisher, the Last Symphony. Kind of sounds like Powerball Symphony, but, Symphony's just a... Let's see, Kofi put up a hard fight against Gunther, and it was a good match. Yeah, he did. He did not go down easily. So, like I said, it was a good match. I enjoyed it. Okay, so then we get another Bloodline segment, but this time they're backstage. Sami Zayn talks about how he's getting ready to leave for the night, and the Usos sent Solo with him to protect him because, he's made enemies. Jimmy starts talking about how he can't believe that Jay is trusting Sami now, and he thought he would never live to see the day. And then he asked if he asked Sami Zayn about lying to him. And Jay tells him no, because Roman saw everything he needed to see, when he looked into Sami's eyes. And besides, Sami did help him win the War Games match. And then Sheamus attacks him with a shillelagh. So, I really like this, the fact that Jay is kind of letting it go about the fact that Sami Zayn lied to him. And I know I talked about this before and I'll bring it up again. But that breakup, when they turn on Sami, it's going to turn him into the biggest babyface in SmackDown. Like, it's going to hurt everybody. I don't know what's going to hurt more, the Bloodline turning on Sami Zayn or the Festival of Friendship. The Festival of Friendship hurt. But it said that the Usos are scheduled to defend their tag titles on Raw against Elias and Matt Riddle. And then whoever wins that will defend against Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. So I think it's pretty obvious the Usos are winning against Matt Riddle and Elias. And they're also probably going to win over Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. And so then after this is when we get the damage control promo that I talked about at the beginning. Just to kind of recap a little bit. The whole point of this is that Bayley comes out and says that nobody wanted to step up or face them. Liv Morgan comes out, and then a Tegan Nox returns and she helps out Liv Morgan. Then we get a quick Karrion Kross Vignette, and he's basically, the whole point of this is that he reveals who his next opponent is or his next feud is, and then there's none other than Rey Mysterio, who is not having a good year. He can't catch a break. I mean, first his son turns on him, then I don't know if you guys saw that video that WWE released, but Dominic and Rhea Ripley show up to Rey's house and they attack him, and now he's gonna feud with Karrion Kross. Like, I mean, he went to SmackDown to get away from Dominic, and now he's feuding with Karrion Kross. He just cannot catch a break, can he? Poor Rey. This is, I mean, maybe he's trying to put Karrion Kross over. That Thanksgiving attack was hilarious. I definitely do agree with you. It was hilarious because, like, Angie, the wife, she answered the door, and then, like, Rey, you could see he was putting on his mask. So he obviously was not wearing his mask at his house. That was hilarious of Dom beating down Rey on Thanksgiving. Guy got a picture frame broken on his cast. I saw that. That is hilarious. It was hilarious. All right. So in the main event, it is the finals of the SmackDown World Cup. It's Santos Escobar versus Ricochet. Wow, this is an incredible main event. I did not mind this main event at all. Of course, Santos Escobar does not come out to the ring alone. He comes out with Legado del Fantasma. And they try to get involved in this match. And the referee ejects them from ringside. So I really like that suicide dive that Santos Escobar did to Ricochet. I really wanted Santos to win, but great match. Yeah, same here. I was so disappointed that Santos Escobar did not win. I was like expecting him to win. But you know what? Santos Escobar gave a good performance. That match was the best SmackDown match of the year. Incredible. Santos Escobar is just that good. Yeah, he is. Really great match. So I really like that one spot where they're both like on the barricade, and then Santos Escobar does a hurricanrana to take Ricochet off that barricade. At one point, both men collide and go down after Ricochet does a superplex to Santos Escobar. And then the winner of this match was going to face Gunther on the December 16th edition of SmackDown. Let's see here. This match was on the level of NXT TakeOver. Yeah, that certainly was. I really like that knee to Escobar, which was followed up by a vertical suplex. And then that reversal Rana, followed by a kick to the chin, and then 630 splash to Escobar, allowing Ricochet to win. And then Gunther comes out and he has to stare down with Ricochet. So I'm actually quite surprised Ricochet won this. I was expecting Santos Escobar because I figured, at first I thought Braun Strowman was going to win this, but once Braun Strowman got taken out of the World Cup, I figured, okay, Santos Escobar is winning this. I mean, I guess it makes sense that Ricochet won because I feel like no matter who won this match, they're going to lose to Gunther. So I guess you might as well have Ricochet lose to Gunther again, then have Santos Escobar challenge for the Intercontinental title and lose. I honestly think Sheamus is going to be the one to take that Intercontinental title off of Gunther. I think we're going to get Sheamus versus Gunther 3 at WrestleMania. And I would be so happy to be there live for that. But overall tonight, SmackDown was okay. It wasn't too bad. I really like the Bloodline stuff. I liked Sami Zayn versus Sheamus. That main event was phenomenal. Even Gunther versus Kofi Kingston wasn't bad. That Bray Wyatt promo was good. The only thing I really didn't like about this was the whole Shayna Baszler versus Emma and the Emma segment. I really didn't like that. Let me see. I have to agree with you. 7 out of 10. Decent show, honestly. But with that being said, that concludes the SmackDown review. So now let's talk about AEW Rampage, which kicked off with Darby Allin versus Cole Carter. But before the match even started, Darby Allin was beating the tar out of Cole Carter. Like, he did a chop block to Cole Carter. I really like that Falcon Arrow off the top ropes to Darby Allin. I gotta hop off, but awesome show. Oh, well, thanks. Thanks for stopping by. I hope to see you next time. I like the way the match ends. Is Darby Allin does a Scorpion Death Drop after a hammerlock to Cole Carter, followed by a coffin drop. This match was just it to me. Knew Darby was winning. Yeah, same here. I knew Darby Allin was winning this. This match was okay, but you could have had this match on Dark. Honestly, it was okay. It was an okay match. So we get a Keith Lee backstage interview, and Renee Paquette asks Keith Lee what's going on with him and Swerve Strickland. And Keith Lee basically says it's an ongoing negotiation. But before he can go any further, Shane Taylor appears and says that Keith Lee left him 6 years ago and he went on to become the greatest TV champion of all time. And he challenges Keith Lee to a match. He tells Keith Lee to find a partner. So it's going to, by the looks of it, because Swerve Strickland did kind of just pop out from behind Keith Lee. So by the looks of it, it's going to be Shane Taylor Promotions versus Swerve in Our Glory at Final Battle. Should be a good match. But I'm more intrigued about the storyline that's going on with Swerve in Our Glory because I thought that their partnership was going to be over. But I guess you have to wait and see till Final Battle. So then we get the Acclaimed segment, and Anthony Bowen says that they can't say what's next for them before addressing what happened on Dynamite. And they're basically referring to Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, interrupting them on the Titantron. So he says that Jeff Jarrett is probably jealous that everyone loves the Acclaim, and they can't cut the line, and his Colonel Sanders has to wait. So they're talking about how they're going to give a tag team who has been waiting for a long time the opportunity, and that they are the voice of the people. So Colton and Austin come out, and they call their dad Billy. And then Sanjay Dutt also comes out and says that they're a couple of ass boys. And Billy Gunn says that everybody misunderstood that they want to face the best. So the FTR come out and shake hands with the Acclaim. So it's going to be the Acclaim versus FTR on AEW Dynamite. And so FTR is finally getting their shot at the AEW tag titles. They were left off the card at Full Gear. So we'll see what happens. But I don't think FTR is going to beat the Acclaim for those tag titles. I would be honestly shocked if they do beat the Acclaim for those tag titles. Because the Acclaim is really over, but I don't know what people would want more. For the Acclaim to remain tag team champions because, they're over with the crowd, or for FTR to add another belt to their belt collection. They're the 3PA Tag Team Champions, the IWGP Tag Team Champions, the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. All they need is the AEW Tag Team Championship, and they have a lot of belts. So that match was just it. We all had to witness a 55-year-old Jeff Jarrett in the ring playful. I think you're jumping a little ahead, but okay, it's fine. So we get Private Party versus Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. And my only spot in this match that I like was Isaiah Cassidy when he starts doing the flare strut. But Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal win this match. I'm not sure why they won this match. I honestly feel bad for Private Party because I feel like they're just kind of there now. They were one of the first tag teams in AEW, and they have yet to win the tag titles. Just same thing with Santana and Ortiz. They have yet to win the tag titles, and they're just there. I know right now they have a storyline with Firm and Matt Hardy, but I mean, what's the whole point of that storyline? What's it going to lead to? I mean, it might eventually lead to Private Party and Matt Hardy forming a trio, but afterwards, like, what? Like, are they going to challenge for those trio titles? What's going to happen here? Like, I just feel bad for Private Party. They haven't really done much, honestly. And it's kind of sucks because they were really featured a lot at the beginning of AEW, and now it's just like they're just there. Private Party is losing momentum. Yeah, they definitely are. They're losing a lot of momentum. So we get a Saraya interview. My bad. Sorry. And she starts talking about how she had legit chills for her first match back. And it was such an emotional moment for her because those 5 years felt really long. And she talks about how her brother, who's been there, has been there every step of the way. And he even dressed up as a pink Power Ranger once. And that Full Gear was a special moment not only for her, but for all the women in AEW, as they had 3 women's matches. And she is proud of Jamie Hayter, but she makes her intentions known. She wants that title. So I honestly have a feeling that they're going to save this match for their first UK show. I think that when AEW goes to the UK, I don't know when next year they're going, but they're going. I think the main event match for that UK show will probably be Jamie Hayter versus Saraya for that AEW women's title. And if you want to give Saraya her moment, she will probably more than likely win the title in her home country against Jamie Hayter. But that's just I think that's probably where they're going. It's a bold prediction. Let's see if it works out for me. Dodgeball reference in case anybody's wondering. Then we get Athena versus Dani Mo. This is, I mean, I guess you can call it a squash match. I mean, Dani Mo did get some offense in, but it was a squash match. I mean, Athena beat the tar out of her. And after the match, she pretty much sent Dani Mo crashing onto the floor. She gave her a running knee to the steel steps, and then she almost struck Audrey Edwards again. She is challenging Mercedes Martinez for that ROH Women's title at Final Battle, and I think Athena's going to take it. Then we also find out Juice Robinson is going to issue a challenge to Samoa Joe for that TV title. And of course, we get a main event promo, which is Best Friends and Orange Cassidy, QT Marshall, and The Factory. And it's so hilarious because QT Marshall's talking about how he made this a lumberjack match because he didn't want any shenanigans. He says that Best Friends and Danhausen are not taking this seriously. And the reason why he said that is because they're all dressed as lumberjacks. They have pickaxes. And it's just hilarious. And they ask Mark Henry if they can bring axes to the outside, and he tells them no, and that they're trying to say that they need 2 seconds because they weren't done. But Mark Henry pretty much says that it's time for the main event. And before the main event starts, we find out that Darby Allin is challenging Samoa Joe for the TNT title, and Darby Allin himself is banning Sting from ringside. So the main event ends up being a lumberjack match for the AEW All-Atlantic Championship. It is Orange Cassidy versus QT Marshall. And it's so hilarious because like the Best Friends come out and they come out with their axes and they take away The refs take away those axes from best friends. It's so hilarious. So at one point, there's always chaos in lumberjack matches. So Ethan Page at some point demands Private Party and Matt Hardy to attack Orange Cassidy, but they refuse. Instead, Matt Hardy helps Orange Cassidy up. The factor into the ring, but then get taken out on the outside. One of my first spots in this match was when Danhausen curses QT Marshall on the ring apron. And then QT Marshall curses him right back. And he gives him the bird. He flips him the bird. Or gives him the bird. Whatever you want to say. But you know what I'm talking about. That was hilarious. And then Penelope Ford came out along with her husband Kip Sabian. And they try to attempt to distract Orange Cassidy, which allows QT Marshall to hit the cutter. But that's not enough. Like, Orange Cassidy hits a second beach breaker in the center of the ring. And so Orange Cassidy successfully retains here. Then he goes after Chris Sabin. And all hell breaks loose between the Lumberjacks. You see Kip Sabian and Orange Cassidy going at it. And then the lights go out. House of Black appears. And they start cleaning house. But something interesting happens. They're about to... Buddy Matthews and Brody King are about to do a Dante's Inferno on Ortiz. But Malachi Black stops them. And Ortiz kind of just like gets away. So I wonder if that means that they trying to entice him to join House of Black. Like they did Julia Hart. When they spat the mist on her. So very interesting that they did that. But... Rampage pretty much ends with like Kip Sabian and Orange Cassidy going at it, and in House of Black, they're just cleaning house. But overall, Rampage was, 4 out of 10. Rampage was just a missed show. Yeah, that opening match didn't do anything for me. I didn't like Jeff Jarrett or Jay Lethal beating Private Party. I didn't mind Athena versus Dani Mo. I get why they did that. It was just a jobber, though. I have to agree with you, Michael. 4 out of 10. Rampage was okay. I think SmackDown was the better show. But overall, you guys, yeah, SmackDown hands down was, at least in my opinion, was the better show. You can feel free to disagree with me. I don't mind. But with that being said, you guys, thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I'll see you guys hopefully live after Monday Night Raw. Bye.